Hi Matt channel, welcome. Right, joining me today from my kitchen. So I'll show you this. This is just bits of paper, things from the kids' school, just stuff from the vets and stuff. It always falls down, it always really bothers me. So we've got this weighted sellotape thing, just gets put there and just holds it in position. Not ideal, it bothers me literally every day. So I've got square brass wire upstairs. I'm going to make a kind of frame, sort of a box. Imagine a box with no sides, basically. And then all bits of paper can just get put in that and they'll hold there. That's what I want. So, yeah, got all the bits ready upstairs. Let's go do it. Okay, back at the bench, I've got 4 lengths of square wire there and then 2 lengths brand new. I've got loads to work with, basically. Yeah, just give you a heads up. When you're buying metal, any metal to work in, make stuff with, it's like an alloy, yeah? Like brass is no different. Some of it's got different purposes. Like this is really hard. I can't tell you exactly what the alloy is, but an example of where brass will differ, the melting temperature and the hardness of a brass door handle will be different to the melting temperature and hardness of like a shell cartridge. That's going to be really hard. So it's got different purposes. Some of it's made to be used underwater or withstand high temperatures and stuff. They do different alloys for different purposes. So you just got to buy what you need to use and then just find out what it's like to work in as you work on it. Anyway, so actually specifically about doing my job, basically, like I said before, it's a box. So I'm just thinking like quite long, about 10 centimeters long. I didn't measure this. Oh, this is 20 centimeters long, maybe 10 wide. I'm just thinking of all my paper going in there and then enough width. So it's going to be 20 centimeters long. About 10 will be plenty, and then it's just got to be a step up. 5, 20 by 10 by 5 as my dimensions. I've just decided. Don't need this, but I've got one, so I'm going to use it. This is a chenier thing, vice. The idea is useful for tube. You get just the end poking out, tighten it down. This is really like hard tool steel, so files and stuff just slip across it. Bad for your files, doesn't damage the vice though. Now that, not quite enough. That end will be perfectly flat. You can do it by hand, but try it if you're new to making metalwork. Well, basically I'm working in brass here, so I'm feeling like I'm talking to people who just like do a bit of metalwork as a hobby. I like those kind of people. That if I wasn't a professional jeweller, I'm sure I would be doing things in metal still. I can't imagine not doing it. So yeah, I feel like I'm talking to people who are just like who found this video because they want to make a little frame or something or repair something in brass, so they're learning about it. Yeah, you can do that job by hand, no problem at all. But until you've got a bit of experience, you might be surprised to find out it's actually really difficult to get an end really perfectly flat. I've got experience, I can do it, but it's very quick and easy to go straight to a perfect result if you've got one of these vices. Just to give you a tip, what I'm doing is I'm getting them all the same, yeah? Just stack them up like that, and I just put that one next to it. My last one is a little bit too long. When you're filing down the end, you can't really see what you've taken off. It's only through experience you sort of feel what you've done. But obviously, remove metal, you can't see how much you removed. So one tip is just put a line with a black marker pen on it about how much you want to file off. File it down to that line, keeping it flat and straight, and then test it again. Give yourself a mark basically to work to if you need to. Because if worst case scenario, bad error, if you go too short, you've then got to shorten, like this scenario. If I got the last one too short, I then have to shorten the previous 3 just to get more matching again. So the way I'm going about making this comes from my experience creating this. This is just like something I did, like taking it back to grassroots. Just even I'm a professional jeweler, I can spend my time making stuff that I can literally sell for thousands of dollars profit. But even that, I will happily spend my time just doing something because I just want to do it. It's just an idea I've got. I enjoy working in metal, so I just work for the enjoyment. That's worth nothing to sell online. Like, I could sell that as an artwork, doesn't mean anything to anyone except me. I enjoyed myself, it was an idea I had and wanted to go ahead and try it. So I like it. I might clean it up. It's brass, it's got all tarnished, so I might clean it up again, put it on a shelf, I do like that. But yeah, how I made this was 4 lengths. Essentially the same thing, yeah. It's like a sort of, this one's like a square prism, just that a lot of right angles going in and out of it. But yeah, I just did 4 lengths and then I did squares and then put the 4 lengths in between them, and it worked out quite well. So I'm going to do it the same way. So if you're metalworking, you need this tool really, digital calipers. They're accurate to 100th of a mil. I like mechanics, like engine builders, engineers and stuff. They got the same tool basically, it looks a bit different, but they got them that measure to 1,000th of a mil. There's no way you can hand make stuff that accurate, but I just want that. I might look to get one. Anyway, you need it. Get it. 5 centimeters. Lock it up. Put that on the end, and then I can just score a line on it. That's where my first cut down is going to be. So on my line, I'm just going to cut straight down, quite far, more than half. 3/4 isn't enough. 8/10. What's that? 4/5. So a long way through. You just want to leave a little bit there. Next, get a file square section, like needle file. I've got a better one than that somewhere. This is my coarse one. Yeah, basically, then just go straight down. We want a V cut out of it, so it can fold up into a right angle. I'm sure you figured it out already. That's no good. Yeah, this brass is really hard. My files feel slippery, telling me this metal is really hard. That tells me, that means this metal might be brittle. It might not fold up to a right angle without cracking, so it might be an idea if your metal's the same, if your metal's really hard. I mean, just feels rigid, I should have guessed already. Yeah, if your metal's really hard, it might crack if you bend it, so you might want to anneal it. It's basically just heat it up red hot, just that little area, and that'll soften it before you bend it. Or bend it, this is what I do when I'm working in gold, I'll bend it like halfway, have a look at it with a 10 times loop, magnification. If I'm seeing a little hairline, if it's looking really stressed, or especially if there's a little crack forming, yeah, no way, just anneal it before you do anything else. So I'll just show you my my dodgy craftsmanship. I've gone through about that much. Look, this metal is super hard. This is the hardest brass I've ever had before. So a bit of a balance, you've got to decide what's correct and what's not, because you want to go through a decent amount where after it's bent, you've got a sort of decent-ish sharp corner on the outside. If you go through too much, it's going to be too thin and it will almost certainly crack when you start to bend it. I think this is a cracker, because this metal is so hard. I'll show you up close. Let's do it together. I'll show you me bending this to give you a heads up of what it's like. So I was about to fold that up and then show you bending it, but I've just had a second thought. I might do this differently to what I did in my artwork. I'm gonna keep it straight, so I'm just gonna, that's 5 centimeters. I'm gonna go to 10 centimeters, and then 5 centimeters, and then 10, and then just have one long length. I'll just do all the folding up in one go. Okay, so just to point out the obvious, this is my last bit of videoing I'll do until I've got 2 lengths ready to fold up. I want 10 centimeters next, yeah, so I'll get that out to 10. Put it right, line it up with my bottom of my V, put a mark on it, cut straight down, go from there, and then 5, then 10 again. The Diamond Mounter channel is proudly sponsored by nobody. If you're looking to learn to make jewellery and learn small-scale metalwork, you've come to the right place. But I need your help to continue. Support the channel by clicking like and subscribe. Is a free and easy way. Doesn't take you any time, no effort, doesn't cost you any money, but it helps me out a lot. So if you do that, that'd be great, much appreciated. Take it a step further, become a Diamond Mounter patron. It's patreon.com/Diamond Mounter. You can get a shout out on the next upload. You can get access to the new YouTube videos 2 weeks before they go public on YouTube. And the main reason people join is to get access to all the full instructional guides, of which there are 35 now. That's 35 videos, all showing you step-by-step process, start to finish, making individual complete pieces of jewellery. And if you really want to step up your game, I've created an online course specifically about soldering, but it's very much a jewellery making online course. And I show you all the steps, things that took me literally decades, multiple decades to figure out through trial and error and just being taught and then thinking that was the correct way and then figuring out a better way myself. It just takes years to get all that experience. I've just laid it all out, all the best way to do it for you in this online course. So you can literally go straight from a beginner and then you can practice with absolute confidence that you're working in the correct way that will take you to the highest levels of jewellery making. I've got almost 30 years now experience hand making jewellery to the highest level. I made things worth tens of thousands of dollars multiple times. I lost count of the amount of things I made that are worth over $10,000. And when you're working with gemstones that cost that much money and customers that are wealthy enough to afford those kind of things, you've got to do things really correctly. So the way I make stuff is tried and tested in the real world. In my career, I've made multiple tens of thousands of dollars worth of jewellery and never had anything come back. So that's the real world test, and passed it. So I can literally teach you that skill, but you've got to sign up for the online course to do that. But if not any of that, very welcome to stick around, watch all the previous videos I made. I'm sure you can learn something, but doing is learning. You've got to practice what I'm teaching. You can't just watch a video of me doing it and then be able to do it. You've got to practice yourself. It's a difficult skill to learn. Anyway, back to the video. Okay, 2 pairs of parallels. Sliding that one through. Let's bend it. I think I'm going to have to anneal this, but let's just watch it. I might be wrong. Don't go in there. So obviously you want to keep these straight, so I'm being a bit careful with it. I felt it go loose, started to crack. I knew it. I knew it. 10 times loop, what are you saying? Where is it? There you go, told you, I felt it just suddenly go loose. I knew it. Before I turned the camera on, I thought this metal's so hard, 100% I've got to anneal it. Yeah, that. I anneal that, I might just about get away with it. But it might be a bad day. I might, even after annealing, I might bend that and it might just come off. So that's what you want to avoid. I made the mistake, so hopefully you don't have to. Look, didn't bend it much. Hardly bent it at all, and it cracked. So annealing, we're going to warm it up and soften just that area. Oxypropane torch. You could probably do it with a lesser torch. Brass is difficult to melt, so I wouldn't worry too much about accidentally overheating it. Just gonna get it just about red hot, and that'll be annealed. There you go. That is it. Let it cool down in its own time, and I think that will soften right up. Okay, so that's cooled down now. Let's see what we can do. I mean, that feels more elastic now as well. There's a lot of the work I do as a jeweller is all done through feel. I can sort of feel the metal, feel my tools, the vibration, the pressure. I sort of know how hard I'm filing or cutting and how far tools are moving through the metal and stuff. It's all done through feel. It's all through fingertips. All right, it's hanging on there. I don't think it's very strong though, and it needs to be bent more. So what I'm thinking of doing is just annealing that one, annealing that one. Being much more careful with those. I'm going to bend it a little bit, and then even like way before it starts to crack, anneal it again. Just do half. 2 anneals just to get them at right angle. That's how hard this metal is. So yes, it's a problem when accidents happen. I'm not calling that an accident because I kind of knew it was going to happen. I wanted to go through with it to show you. You can believe that or not. It's true though. Okay, so let's bend this one, see what happens. I mean, straight away, that felt nice and elastic and it's tightening up already. So that's telling me that metal's getting really hardened. Let's do that again on this one. Really feel through your fingertips. Yeah, feel it tightening up. It's getting harder to bend. Okay, so that's it. I mean, I can't assume you've got the same bit of metal, same dimensions or anything, but I think it's important to show you challenges you come up against when you're working in metal. Now, when you're a professional jeweller, ideally you don't make these mistakes, and you help yourself out by just going carefully and really paying attention to what's going on. And an example of that is really feeling the metal tighten up and get hard as you bend it. and then you can work through a piece. It might take you longer, like having to stop and anneal it like I'm doing now, but at least you're not repairing problems like I've got to do on that first corner. So yeah, slowly catchy monkey, as my boss used to say to me. Okay, update. They folded up all right the rest of the way, but there is a little bit of scissoring happening. See that? They're not straight. You want to get them straight. Hopefully you turn yours up and it's not too bad, but about as bad as what I've got. You can simply just grab it by the corners and then twist it a little bit. For that amount, you shouldn't see any twisting on that bar. And then also, as for that end, I knocked it and it fell off. It was really weak. So what I'm going to do is, this doesn't have to be the dimensions I chose, luckily, so I'm just going to shorten it a little bit. So rather than 10 centimeters, I'll go for 95 mil. Because I don't want my last corner with that slant on. It makes it awkward to get the distances and angles right. Just more work. So I'm just going to shorten it. It's my easiest solution. Coming up to finishing, I just want to make sure I can actually solder these up at a correct right angle. So yeah, it's a bit flexy at the moment. None of them, they're all just cut, they're not soldered up. So just make sure that definitely does sit at a right angle. So no problem there. Last one, this one's probably the best corner, sitting closest to correct. Now we've got, what we've got is that. Yeah, feel it really hardening up. Feels soft, feels soft. Watching that surface. Hardened up now. Hardened up. Didn't keep pushing it and it's not cracked, so I know to stop and it's due another anneal. Yeah, same that one. Okay, so I'm going to start to work on this one. I'm still folding up the other one, but I had to re-anneal one corner, so that's cooling down there. Brass takes ages to cool down compared to the precious metals us jewellers normally working on. Right, well, this corner, I just want to make sure these are nice right angles. I think it's worth spending a bit of time getting it nice. So if it just looks wonky, it can just be a little bit taller one side than the other. It's just going to look horrible. I can't help myself but try and do a good job, even though I don't really need to. Making jewellery, I always try to be really accurate. Something like this, I'm a bit more easygoing on it, but at the same time, just old habits die hard. But anyway, I'll shut up. This is telling me that needs to fold down a little bit. It looks correct, but it's not. So first of all, I'll try and just do it by just squeezing the corner a bit harder. Don't think that worked. Might have to cut through it. It improved it, but not quite enough. So I just simply cut through the corner once more. Watch this, see this? Boink, just folds up a little bit more. It's too much. Okay, that's correct. That's ready for soldering now. So, look at that saw blade I just used. That's a really thin blade, yeah? Even that made it fold up too much, so it was really minimal amounts of adjustments you need to do when you're tweaking the corners to get them correct. Anyway, that's correct now. It's looking nice and flat, so I'm just going to put that down and do a solder. Okay, got all my brass soldering kit out. This is the flux I use. This is just a generic white flux for copper-based metals, basically. Check out a video I did in the past on, I think it was called Secret of Soldering Brass. Basically, I was having trouble making it happen until I got this flux. So the flux makes a big difference. Give it flux on that first. That metal's still really hot. Okay, come back to me now. This flux, really effective. It's sort of almost too strong. It goes like a jelly and moves your piece of solder about. Solder's melting. Brass is not up to temperature yet. That melted really easy compared to the metal. Come on. Still not fully flooded yet. There we go. Right, this might work okay, or it might be difficult to get it to melt nicely because the metal is so dirty. Let's see what happens. Just noticed I'm not wearing my microphone. Hope you can hear me okay. Here it is. Check 1, 2. Testing, testing. That solder looks like it's not going to go in the join. Hang on, let me get some heat over here. No, I've got to add a bit more solder. It's getting it hot, and that solder went to that side of the join. That is far more likely to happen when the join is dirty inside. I do kind of feel confident I can get a bit of solder to go in that, but if it was totally clean, that might not have happened. Let's have a go. I'll put a bit more solder on. If this doesn't work, I'll just have to clean it and start again. And then a little bit less solder this time, because if it melts, it's all going to mix with that one, and there'll be a double extra big blob in there. All that information, training for all that stuff is all covered in my new online course about soldering. Check it out. I don't know if that's worked, you know. I think that's just too dirty in that join. I don't think it's worked. Alright, I'm going to clean it. You see that line? That is a join with no solder in it. Even though I put solder on twice. A bit went that side, bit went that side. Even a jeweller like me with coming up 30 years experience can't get a dirty join to solder. You've really got to have your joins clean. So what I've done is created, unexpectedly, a good example of why I don't like making collets starting from a corner. I always start from like halfway on one side, because if you start halfway one side, it forces you to make all 4 corners the same. If you do it like I did this one, starting from the end, fold, 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 and then the ends are soldered up, what you get is, see how they're just sharp and perfect looking? That one's got a rounded outside. They're made differently. It's got a solder join there. If that had another reason, if that was a corner of a collet and that had a claw go in there, the claw won't cover the solder join, which is either coming off that way or coming off that way. All these, the solder join goes right from the inside corner to the outside corner, so when you put a claw on, it's definitely going over the top of the solder join. So that's 2 reasons why I make collets the way I do. Okay, so that's the difficult part done. I'm not going mad on the surface finish. It's certainly not going to be all polished and nicely done. But I'm at least going to buff out the file marks over the corners and just have it lightly sort of papered all over. Okay, as for putting these on, potentially quite tricky to do. So what I've decided to do, basically hold that spring tweezers. I've got that just holds those steady, stable. So that holds in that position, and then what I do is that's squared off nicely, put that in position, and then to make sure it's at the correct angle, I've got this L-shaped ruler, bring that corner down, make sure that's straight, which it isn't. There you go. And then carefully Move that out of the way. There you go, correct position, ready to solder. So just an idea, as soon as that's set up, ready to go, I may as well just do this one as well. Easy, innit? Okay, so what I'm doing is I've got this plastic tub. That's my safety pickle in there, already preheated. So that sits in there like that. So I may as well just go ahead and make a mirror version of that. And then I've got two that can just go together. Obviously soldering 2 solders this end and then 2 solders that end. And that will complete my little frame. So if all your angles are good and then the lengths of these are good, everything should be parallel, ready to go. They should touch, everything should line up reasonably good. It's never going to be perfect, but it should be you should have it quite good. And there you go, that's what we're building. Alright, considering the small chance that someone out there in YouTube land might actually be using this video as a guide to make something, just talk about what I've done here. Obviously that's quite big. I want it sitting stable in the correct position, so just with tools I've got here, I've matched the height of that block, so that's comfortable there. 1 join, 2 joins, 3 joins, 4 joins. I will line it up kind of nicely, but basically the one I care about the most is the one I'm about to solder, just make sure it's lined up pretty good. Solder is looking like, oh, might be alright. There you go. I thought it was going to go the wrong way then. There we go. Okay, so check this out. I think this is good advice here. If you come up with any kind of problem at all, don't just run straight to the internet and ask for advice on a Facebook group or something. Try and solve your issues yourself. You're using your brain and practicing creativity and becoming a problem solver. That alone will help you out immensely in this job. Or hobby, whatever you're doing with it. You need to be able to solve your own problems. An example of what I'm talking about is, I just did this solder, yeah? I just did that one and it was set up like that. But when I turned it around, I was going to line up the same one. It's a sort of springiness to the metal, so it's not holding in position. So I just sort of think, can I clamp it from the ends? Not really, not suitably. What I can do, just turn it up that way because of the shape and design of it. Just put it up that way, and just find something with a bit of weight, put that on top, and then that will push it in position and just hold it there. So I can do the solder like that now. But yes, the danger has increased a little bit doing a solder on this wobbly, spindly structure with a heavy object on top. Pick your poison. You can increase the danger but do the job well, or you can just bodge it with a gap and flood it with loads of solder safely. I've mentioned this on the channel loads of times as well, but if you're new to my channel, I'll just point things out quickly that everybody else already knows. Have a little electric fan on your bench. This one's good because it stands up. I literally use it just for cooling stuff down, like rather than trying to pick that up and quench it in water or whatever, or just move it. It's an awkward thing. Don't want to disturb it too much, so I just put a fan on it. Because brass is definitely taking a long time to cool down, more than silver, gold or platinum that I'm used to working on. Okay, so that's sort of done. It is sort of going to work, yeah, with the bits of paper I've got in there, except for they're going to slip out that way. So at first I thought we'll just put a bar across. I've got enough metal to do it. But that's a bit boring. It's an opportunity to do a bit of design. So I've got these bits from just previously made things. I might cut them out and just do some little like shapes on there just to give it a bit of design. Just on one side to stop paper slipping through it. So I'm going to do that now. think that'll do. I'm tempted to put another bar there, but I like the spaces. I designed it looking at the spaces, not the actual lines. And that's enough different shapes put together, I think. So anyway, it is what it is. I'm just going to spend a little bit of time cleaning up the solder joins and make the whole thing look sort of half finished. Again, it's not going to be polished all nicely. The joins are not going to be super neat. Just basically going over it to make it all look sort of matte brass.